Hello everybody, welcome. Let me start with our moral and motivations for tourism industries. Merhabalar from Turkey. Hello from Turkey. I'm a general manager of the Turkish tour operator titled Travelshop Turkey. I have been organizing B2B events for over 10 years around the world until this pandemic. After the corona pandemic started to spread, I had to cancel many of our workshops. While thinking about this cancellation back at home, I, I have happened to think that I could do a lot more on internet. And thinking possibility, I have started organizing this moral and motivational sections online. I have completed 6 of them already. We are now making the 7th one video. I do not have any moral and motivational education and not come from the SAC family. In tourism, my experience goes back to 1993. With all my experience and online technology help, I am in front of you. I think somebody is moved off. So far, over 100 registrations from more than 100 different countries have been taken for this event. I would like to thank to all our speakers and participants joining us online. This will be around 90-minute panel. I would like to introduce you the respected speakers of ours. Mr. Thomas Klein, founder of member of the Wellness Tourism Association. Dr. Subhash Koyal, the chairman of the Civil Aviations Tourism Communities of the Indian Chamber of the Commerce and Industries. Mr. Mayank Kawanda, board member and the treasurer of International Sport Travel Agency Associations. Mr. Bob Zobarado, somebody's voice coming, just a second please. Somebody's, I think, unmute. Taner, sesimi duyuyorsan o sesi bulup kapatır mısın lütfen? Benim sesim yankı ya. Sesim net geliyor değil mi abi? Okay. Mr. Bob Zarbodo, the chairman of the Philippines chapter of the Pacific Asia Travel Association, PATA. Mr. Dennis Spiegel, the founder of the CEO of International Theme Park Services. Ms. Sangeeta Monaco, the director of the National Board of the Enterprise and Travel Agency Association. Mr. Eyüp Babel, the vice president of the Istanbul Tourism Association. Mr. Fahrettin Çiçek, Municipality Council members, head of the Tourism Commission for Kuşadası. Welcome all. Thank you very much for coming. So I would like to start, 1 minute for each of our speakers. I would like to start Mr. Subhash. Subhash, please, let's start from you. Tell us who you are, then I will go to the next person.
Yeah, I'm, apart from Chamber of Commerce, I'm also the Honorary General Secretary of the Federation of all the 10 associations, travel agents, tour operators, hoteliers, restaurant association. I also am the chairman of India's largest B2B travel group known as TIC Travel Group. We are GSA for 10 international airlines, 3 cruise companies, 3 rent-a-car companies, and we have a private air charter division. I have more than 40 years experience in aviation and tourism, and I've been president of the Indian tour operators and various other tourism bodies. So it's a pleasure to interact with all of you, and anything about India you need or to know, any of you, it will be my pleasure. And I think our contact details of all these speakers will be shared by the host, Mr. Murtaza. And we are at your service, and unitedly, we stand together in this hour of crisis. All of us in the tourism industry are one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Mr. Thomas Klein. Thomas, please unmute.
Yeah, hopefully that works.
Yes,
got it. Good morning. I think, you know, when you're sitting in a panel here with almost 300 participants, you realize how small the world is and how technology is keeping us together. Look, it's truly a pleasure to be here. As I was introduced, Tom Klein, one of the founding members for the Wellness Tourism Association, which keeps me busy. Wellness is a huge industry, and we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm also a hotelier, 40 years in the hospitality business, lived in South Africa for many years, Australia, Europe, and now based in the United States. Most recently was President Chief Operating Officer for the past 4 years with Canyon Ranch, located here in the United States. We also had an operation in Kaplankaya in Turkey, in your beautiful country. Many years with Raffles, Fairmont, Swiss Hotel, Sun International. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing the panel and the questions that hopefully you'll put all in front of us via your chat lines. So pleasure to be here with everybody, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Mayank, please open your, please be unmute.
Good evening, everyone. This is Mayank Khanwala here, representing the International Sports Travel Agencies Association, ISTA, based in Lausanne, Switzerland. On behalf of myself, my company, Cutting Edge, founder and president of that. And Murtaza, thank you for organizing this. It's great efforts. And we look forward to welcome everyone across and share the situation across. We hope everyone is fine and good, doing well in this current pandemic, and wishing everyone all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Bob?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me well, Murti?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I started my career with Pan Am a long time ago. Pan Am was still alive. Then I moved on to become the director of sales of the Hyatt Regency in Manila. I think my career has spanned all sectors of the tourism industry, because from the Hyatt Regency, I became managing director for Thomas Cook in the Philippines. And then I went on to become managing director for the Thai Airways GSA here in the Philippines. And then before my retirement, I was the country manager of the Northwest Airlines GSA in the Philippines and Micronesia. And now that I'm retired, I continue to teach. I used to be the dean of the College of Tourism of a university here in the Philippines, and I am now the chairman of Pacific Asia Travel Association Philippines chapter. And for the past 25 years, I have been writing a tourism column weekly in a newspaper here in the Philippines. And I am so honored to be a part of this illustrious group of people tonight. It's tonight here. It's almost midnight in the Philippines. So I'll talk to you again some more later.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dennis?
Good day, everyone. I'm Dennis Spiegel, president of International Theme Park Services. We're a global consultancy company. We've worked on over 500 projects in 55 countries. I'm celebrating my 50th year in the theme park industry.
Wonderful.
Past president of the International Association of Amusement Park and Attractions Organization, which is the Global Theme Park Association, and a founding member of the Travel and Tourism Advisory Council to the United States Senate, where I served for 5 years. So continue to keep our finger on the pulse of the industry globally. We publish a daily newsletter out of our company every day, which is read by all of the CEOs of members of our industry, both on the operating and on the vendor side. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dennis. Sangeeta?
Yeah, good evening, friends.
Thank
I
you.
hope you are able to hear me.
Yeah, we do.
All right, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Murtaza, for doing a great effort. And I'm very pleasure to be on this panel. I am Sangeeta Manocha. I am the chairperson for the Northern India chapter of Enterprising Travel Agents Association. We are here. I'm in this industry from past 18 years, started my career with the hotel industry into the sales, and now running my own company from past 10 years in the name of Prime Connections. So we are here to be together, and I'm really pleasure to have all on a panel with us. Thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Ayub Pabil?
Hello, I'm Eyüp Babur. I am the Vice President of Istanbul Tourism Association. I have been in the tourism industry for more than 35 years, but in the hospitality part of it. I have worked for Hilton, Swiss Hotel and Kempinski groups in Turkey, USA, and Switzerland. And I have been in the corporate office of Kempinski in Geneva for some time. And now I'm in charge of the development of Shaza Hotels, part of Kempinski Hotel Group. And also I'm the Vice President of Istanbul Tourism Association, working together with Murtaza in the board. And our mission is to promote Istanbul as one of the greatest tourism destinations in the world, and also try to contribute to the further development of Istanbul as one of the most tourist-friendly cities in the world. Thank you very much, Murtaza, for allowing me to participate to this unique group. And I wish all the best to everybody, and we'll speak to you again at a later stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fahrettin, welcome. Sesin kapalı abi.
Yes, it's done, I think. Hi.
Yes.
I'm Fahrettin Çiçek. I'm the municipal council member and the head of the tourism commission of the municipality Kuşadası. And also I'm one of your colleagues from the travel industry, having a business experience of over 35 years as a travel agency owner and managing partner of Peninsula Tours. I have been studying in Turkey, also in travel management, and also completed my MBA degree in Germany. So I can speak German and English both. And since early 2019, I'm acting as also a member of the Kuşadası municipality and trying to promote the city for the international travel industry, for which I will give you more information during the sessions. And of course, I would like to thank Murtaza for his invitation to this event. And my pleasure is to be with you. Of course, it's great today, and wish a great event, all of us, even if it is a digital one.
Thank you, thank you. We have so far 312 people online. So we have a lucky draws. Mr. Hakan, please tell us also our lucky draws, what we are offering.
Hello everyone, this is Hakan Türkol from Travelshop Turkey. I, of course, as you may have gathered, that I work for Travelshop Turkey, for Mr. Murtaza Kalender. And since we're having these moral and motivational sessions, and this is the 7th one, we thought, you know, as an appreciation of your time here with us, we would like to throw in some of the goodies that we have. And then this is how it's going to work. As previously done, and this being the second time, we will be asking you questions about, you know, the cultural and the popular tourism industrial questions. They're really simple, and if you follow the whole thing from the beginning to the end, you will, you know, get to know what we will ask and answer immediately. I will be directing 8 questions towards the end of the session, and I will be giving away Cappadocia, Kuşadası, Vietnam, and a luxury MICE Istanbul fam trips from 3-4 days. So just rest assured, hang in there, stay until the end, and you will have a chance to win one of these great presents. We'll see you towards the end.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Hakan. Thank you. Thank you. So, Subhash Koyal, I would like to start from you. You are one of the experienced person in our tourism industries. Yeah. And please
Yeah.
tell us also from India and from your associations after the COVID-19 pandemic, what what's India doing there? And please tell us also all our colleagues, they want to hear about positive things from your side to be motivated. Yes, please.
Well, friends, as you know, we had a complete lockdown for about 2 months in India, and from the 1st of June, we are opening up slowly. From we have last 15 days, the domestic flights have restarted, and the airport is following a lot of strict protocol where every person has to go through thermal scanning, and there is rapid COVID test before one enters the airport, and only if you're fit and you need to have a vaccination that which should be at least 72 hours before, not vaccination, certificate that you are corona negative, and then you're allowed on a domestic flight. And once you land again, I think at the airport you have a test. There is no quarantine if you are found okay. But in one or two states which are absolutely 100% free, they are a little fussy, and there they do a quarantine for a day, or depending. And so domestic flights have started. Uh, we were talking to the Civil Aviation Ministry. Protocols are being ready, and it will take another 1 or 2 months for international flights to start. The hotel industry, restaurants have opened. Obviously, there is a Ministry of Health and Ministry of Tourism guidelines, checklists. Shopping malls have opened again in all the major cities. But still, after opening up, the number of COVID victims has increased. But I would speak on the positive side. More than 12 to 13 million people in India have been cured of COVID. And in certain areas where they tested, they found in certain clusters that about 30% of the people had COVID and they were cured. You see, so they had antibodies for COVID. So, friends, we'll have to learn to live with this disease. Like when you go to Africa, you need a yellow fever vaccine. Uh, India is working very hard. We have the world's largest, the Serum Institute of India, which is working with Oxford University, and we hope by September, human trials of the vaccine are going on, uh, uh, and by September we hope we'll come out with a vaccine. And I think it will take 1 year after the vaccine for tourism to come back to its original position. However, in India, we are focusing more on domestic tourism, and our company has a private air charter division, and we are planning tours with private, small executive aircrafts to the various tourism destinations, because a lot of high-end people will not like to travel in public. And uh, we are working very closely with the government. I have been chairman of the India Tourism Mart, and also I'm advisor in the Ministry of Tourism as a National Tourism Advisory Board, Government of India, and also on the Medical Tourism Board of the Government of India. So we are working very closely with the industry, and we are coming up with protocols. Hotels are going to open very soon. The protocols are, some hotels have volunteered to be attached as COVID, attached to certain hospitals, where a basic amount is being paid by the government to the hotels. Uh, uh, Earlier they wanted to acquire hotels, but I think the hotel association went to the court Now, basically, it's on voluntary basis. So in India, some states in the northeast and in the northern parts like Sikkim and few of the northern mountainous areas are 100% COVID free. In the cities, yes, there is a lot of people who are affected. But I feel, and we are telling the government that people are now aware of the danger of this disease, and it is compulsory to wear masks on the streets. And so I think India is, fast. We have all taken it in our stride that this is the worst crisis, at least in my lifetime, I have seen. But like all good things come to, an end, all bad things come to an end, and every dark cloud has a silver lining, and every dark tunnel, there is light at the end. And particularly people in the tourism, travel, hospitality, and aviation industry work around the clock. We are tough people, and it is rightly said, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So we are all ready to bounce back. We shall overcome, and I think our staff and our team is ready to bounce back. We are all eagerly waiting to welcome the Indian Association of Tour Operators, which I have been the president for about 16 years. We have come up with a film. We are producing a film on what protocols Indian airports and Indian hotels and Indian tour operators are following, which will be on the YouTube and also on the website. And we hope the Ministry of Tourism has also come out with certain protocols and a film on how India is going to open. The visa conditions are also going to be on the website. So India, I am sure, will bounce back. But yes, for the next 1 year or so, we will have to focus more on domestic and regional tourism. And we are, our associations which were in outbound tourism like TAI and Travel Agents Federation of India, who are all our members in faith of the Federation. We are working, and also I think legally we are getting the court support that all refunds from the airlines and the hotels should be paid to the tour operators and the travel agents. So this is what in brief, the India situation is. I'm open for question and answers and would love to answer any question. Can't hear you. Unmute.
Yeah. We will get them the questions later on. But if any of our speakers have a questions, let me ask our speakers. Do you have any questions to Mr. Sobaş? Fahrettin abi sen mi? Sesin kapalı abi. Sesin şimdi açık.
So I think we have to manage these mute and unmute issue our own. So I would like to ask Mr. Goyal if any of the source markets has already declared potential start dates for sending clients into India.
No, because international flights have not started.
But
So,
is there any potential date for any international traffic?
We are planning between 1st to 15th of April. July, 15th of July, when we hope if all protocol and all, because we have a committee of the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Tourism, and Ministry of External Affairs, and a disaster management group, which takes a final decision on the date, what has to be opened, what has not to be opened. So our tentative date is around 15th of July, and we hope in July, we pray, and we are putting pressure on the government for international flights.
Okay.
That there should be quarantine.
Okay. Let me go to just a second, please. Mayank, do you have any questions? Yeah.
No, it's fine now. It's okay. Thank you. I was unable to unmute. Basically, once you mute it, you're not able to unmute it.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Let me go to Thomas. I think the systems do that. Thomas, welcome.
Yes.
And
Morning
good
again.
morning. Good morning. I think we make you to wake up early.
Yeah. No. Oh my gosh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you so much. That was quite interesting. And there's very similar alignments to what's going in the country in India to even the United States, which I think is opening up much faster with the COVID. And I'll touch on that a little bit as well. But, just as mentioned at the onset, as one of the founding members for the Wellness Tourism Association, which we launched in 2018. And I think everybody on this call understands that wellness as a whole is growing exponentially on a global basis. It's now a $4 trillion plus business globally. And I think with the pandemic going on and some of the uncertainties in the world and the pressures, whether it's because you're furloughed at work, you're laid off, being confined at home, is becoming even more important today. So we're seeing a tremendous amount of interest in the wellness space and travel and how do you stay safe and how, we now start talking about mental illness as well and the physical well-being. So the association, which started in 2008, we're a nonprofit organization incorporated here in the United States. We currently have 100 plus, just a little over 100 members, representing 21 different countries. And our association, which is global, as mentioned, is really the mission for the organization is creating a network of stakeholders and others in the industry that have an interest in specifically the wellness space. And one of the things that we focused on is specifically highlighting some of the wellness standards across the industry and better defining wellness and what does that really mean. And I think one of the things that we found from the organization now that we're all working through this pandemic is it's hit everybody. It's hit our association, our memberships. Like everybody else, we're learning to manage through this space and understanding how do we help our members, but not only the members, it's the greater audience as well. As you start to see businesses reopening, and in the States, many of the hotels are now opening between now and the beginning of July. You'll see a lot of the hotels coming back on market. But with that being said, what we're seeing, and I'm a hotelier, I've 40 years in the hospitality, some of the top brands around the world, and having lived and worked around the world, I'm on various tourism and hospitality boards, and we discuss, what does the industry look like post-COVID? And I think part of the topic for today's discussion is, with every challenging time, there's always positive. We'll learn something out of this. This is one of those situations where we can't take a book off the shelf and say, how did we do it last time? It just doesn't work that way. This is an evolving situation where leadership is challenged. They're challenged on many different levels. And the industry is probably going to come back in the 20, 30, 40% range. And it will take, as we're looking over, particularly in the US market, if I talk to the major CEOs from the top brands, we're looking at 2 to 3 years before we get back to the pre-COVID occupancies and business levels. Clearly, domestic drive markets are going to be the first ones to pick up. I think the traveler is still looking for experiences, leisure destinations. They want to get out of lockdown and get in their cars and travel to destinations that have space, that have nature, have experiences, and they're looking still for good culinary environments. For the association, we've certainly seen we see a tremendous amount of interest in not only joining the association, but also just tapping in to some of the data and information that we have. And our website is wellnesstourismassociation.org, and you can get a lot more information on that. One of the things that that we found that is really positive as well is we are finding our members that we're able to support them more. And what are they looking for? They're really looking for more information not only on travel, but just information about COVID and what are some of the best practices that are coming out post-COVID, and what is the industry doing, whether it's the travel-related industry, whether it's the hospitality industry. So our partners are getting more information, and the media is also playing a big part of that. But as I said, for the traveler itself, we're really seeing they want more remote locations. They want to get out of the urban centers. What we're finding here in the States, if you look at what's really selling fast right now, RVs, recreational vehicles. You can't get into theme parks, or not theme parks so much, but into nature parks and things like that. That's where the travelers, we're seeing high demand in that space. And we'll see that to continue to grow. I think, everybody is waiting to see, are we going to have a resurgence in this pandemic in later part of this year? So there's everybody, certainly the majority, are cautiously optimistic. The people are getting out. It's different in different parts of the country. In California, for example, they're much stricter on the guidelines. Here in Texas, where I sit, I was out at dinner restaurant last night. It was operating at 50% capacity, and every table was taken. They were following the CDC guidelines. I personally own a couple of restaurants in San Francisco in the Bay Area. They're not open yet. They're doing outdoor seating, and takeaway business continues to be strong. But they won't be opening up those restaurants. We don't have an indicative date at this point, but I would venture to say it would be sometime late in July before they open up for indoor dining in California in certain areas. From as I say, the positive things here is, I think from a company standpoint, with unemployment, and many of you would have seen unemployment is about 14% here in the United States, and coming from very low 2-3%. That's significant when you have that many unemployed people. So as we come back, we're finding that leadership is going to become more and more critical. And one of the things, I have a small consultancy firm that we talk about is what has to change from a company and a business standpoint. And one of the things that I stress is leadership has to change. There has to be a paradigm shift in how we communicate with our employees. We need to be empathetic. We need to make sure that we have a good strategic roadmap. We as leaders have to be inspiring, and we have to be the positive messenger through all that we do. And we have to show a high degree of resilience, and the old philosophy of the glass is half full. Make sure that we inspire the people that are around us. And there are a lot of, when we start talking about wellness, we talk about mindfulness, the mindset of some of the employees that may have been out of work now for 2-3 months, some of their friends that may not come back to work, may not have jobs. So the high degree of sensitivity as we bring our colleagues back to the workforce is really important. And we need to be courageous. We need to have a good strategic roadmap. It's not going to go back the way that it was pre-COVID, and it's going to take time to build it up. And I think that the principle of doing more with less is going to be of paramount importance, and yet still continue to stay focused on what is our strategy and who is our customer and what does the customer want. And clearly safety, hygiene, security, communication are really high on our priority list for what we're seeing in the consumers over here. They need reassurances and they need to feel good about their traveling and understand that it's safe. So it's exciting times on many different levels. I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to embrace our businesses, embrace the consumer, embrace the colleagues, and make them part of the solution as we get through this. One thing is for sure, we will get through it. We will get through it, and there'll be lots of learnings, and we need to do it, together, not only as an industry, but also just as individuals. So I think I had my clock going. I don't want to take up too much time, but I thank you and be glad to answer any questions that you may have relative to any of the points that I just discussed. So thank you again.
We will get questions from our friends later on. But if any speakers have a question, they're most welcome. Any question? But I just take a note: 14% unemployed, really big number in state. Am I right? Thomas?
Unmute.
14% unemployed. Am I right? Really big number in the state.
Yeah, no, it's huge when you're coming from 1, 2, 3% unemployment. But when you start looking at 20-some plus million people unemployed right now on furlough, and I would venture to say that 40 plus or minus % of those will be laid off. They're not going to be bringing them back in the full workforce. So it's a new reality, but we'll work through it.
Yeah. Also, I have noticed you've been in Turkey, in Ankara, and you tell us you have a restaurant in a state. The Turkish restaurant that you have. Please open. Please be unmute. Please unmute.
Okay, we're trying. Yeah, I wish it was Turkey. I love your food, your home food in Turkey, but no, they're not. They're tapas and one's an Italian restaurant. So, but times are different. How do you run a restaurant that has 100 seats and now you have to run it at 50% capacity? The economics simply don't work, so you have to be creative. So, but yeah.
Please, next time, please try to open Turkish restaurant. We promise we will send you the chef.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you have any of our speakers have a question to Thomas? No. Okay. Mr. Mayank, can you hear us? Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, friends. Just to introduce once again, I am a board member and treasurer of the International Sports Travel Agencies Association based in Lausanne, Switzerland. Was founded in 2009, June 2009, and it's a partnership of sports travel agencies globally. We've got 69 active members, 15 associate members, and 7 partner members. These are the topmost sports travel operators operating globally for various sporting events like the Olympics, the FIFA World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, the Rugby World Cup, and all other sporting events across the globe. The members are located over 50 countries in 5 continents, and it's one of the biggest global organizations in terms of sports travel agents. Every year, we have members facilitating travel, hospitality programs and services for hundreds of thousands of visitors and spectators attending the major and most relevant sport events in the planet globally. So, members and partners meet once in a year over the annual general meeting in one of the international destinations where a bigger event like the Olympics or the FIFA World Cup or the Rugby World Cups are going to be held in the forthcoming years, so that the members get an opportunity to see the place, see the stadium infrastructures and other facilities available to be organized for the various travelers for sporting events. The main objectives of the association have been to develop and secure sports travel and to support and promote ISTA members' business and cooperation. The best part about this organization is that there is a huge networking which is available on the WhatsApp chats and other social media links, where we are able to source any match tickets which are possible for any events globally, or even concerts which are there from the network of all the agents which are there across the country. Just to give you a small example, the members, ISTA members together, only for one event like the 2018 FIFA World Cup, had an total contribution to the sales of match tickets to the extent of $51 million.
Wow.
And this is only based on the basis of about 15 to 20 official FIFA agents to match hospitality. The agents altogether booked over 50,000 rooms during the FIFA World Cup in Russia in 2018. And total about 75,000 clients were sent across by the agents from ISTA. So as a sports travel organizations, which is led by our president, Mr. Nazir Kamaruddin from Fly Africa, South Africa, and we have about 9 board members, and we try to have a lot of debates, including meetings along with all the biggest sporting bodies of the world, including the International Olympic Committee, the FIFA, the rugby organizations, and all the other top sporting organizations across the globe, including the Grand Slam tennis events, the Wimbledon, French Opens, and all of those things. The operations are, as I said, because of all the sporting events globally. And with this pandemic recently, the sporting events have come to a big standstill, where people are really not getting an opportunity for the moment. Irrespective of that, the positive sign is that already the sporting events have begun, especially the Bundesliga league in Germany, under closed doors, but it has still begun. So that's a positive sign. The Premier Leagues are opening in UK from the 17th or 18th of June. So that's another positive sign under closed doors, but the sports is beginning. French Open has announced that they will begin from September. They will have their event, which was supposed to be held in May, will be held in September. So these are the positive signs which have already seen across of sports beginning. But the bigger major events like the Olympics, the Euro 2020, the T20 World Cup, and the Wimbledon, they've all been postponed to the next year as of now. So we have to wait and watch for all of this. Sporting events are today a part of a lot of the MICE groups and everything, which people want to go and watch that across. And in Turkey itself, we have 2 associate members, Red Arena and Pop Event, who are a part of our ISTA organization. And we focus on membership based on quality and high specialization of the companies over quantity, and looking towards reinforcing the network globally. The membership is only by recommendation, and the active members have to be an official agent of any of the biggest sporting events in the world. So they have to be official agents to FIFA World Cup, to International Olympics Association, to basically the Rugby World Cup, or the UEFA, or some of the events like that, Cricket World Cups and all of that. So the membership is only based on that, and it's by invitation by one of the board members and recommended by at least 2 board members subsequently and supported. We have 2 board meetings in a year and the annual general meeting to finalize the applications which we receive from the members. So there is a huge demand. We have a huge waiting list across also for this membership. And we are very positive at this point of time that yes, we are all going through this pandemic at this point of time, but it's a passing phase. It will take maybe 3 months or 6 months at the moment to come out of it with as good as what Mr. Goel said, that everything will be fine once the vaccine is in place and the protocols are maintained for hygiene and travel in the future. And unfortunately, there are a lot of jobs which have been lost across in the travel industry as of now. And especially the airlines, you've heard that 600 pilots have been laid off by Emirates only in the last week across at one time. This is one of the biggest any airlines has done that. But hopefully looking into the future of the sporting events, which are going to be in the course of the next 2 to 3 years, there are nearly 10 to 12 biggest sporting events which are going to be held across. And we foresee that the travel will happen very positively, as people have short memories. Once everything gets normal, people have short memories and are very keen to travel across for these sporting events, as it has become a part and parcel of all the travel arrangements which are made by majority of the agents as of now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mayank, how many members do you have? How many members do you have?
We have 69 active members, 15 associate members, and 7 partner members.
How many different countries from?
50 countries.
50 countries. Thank you. Any of our speakers have questions to him? None of them. Okay. And let me go to Mr. Bob. Bob?
Unmute yourself. You have to unmute him.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Okay. Good evening once again. I'm Bob Sosa Prado. I'm the chairman of Pacific Asia Travel Association, Philippines chapter. Now, the good news is the World Tourism Organization has declared that the Asia Pacific region will take shorter to recover, will take shorter time to recover. And last year, they also announced that the Asia Pacific region will be the fastest growing region as far as tourism is concerned, fastest growing in the world. And we in the Philippines are looking forward to that, because the bad news is right now, the recovery process has not yet started, but I'm sure it will. So we're looking forward to that, especially from our neighbors. Now, the situation here in the Philippines, we were locked down starting March, and nothing happened. The tourism industry was in a standstill, and we were not, well, nothing at all, no flights, domestic or international. And it was only 2 weeks ago that the quarantine was downgraded and some businesses were allowed to open. The tourism establishments were not yet allowed to open. And when businesses started to open, of course, people started to perk up, but of course, tourism still has not moved, has not started to grind. However, during the lockdown, our hotels in Metro Manila, the National Capital Region, our hotels were running 100% occupancy, most of them 100% occupancy, because the government used the hotels to house incoming or returning, repatriating overseas Filipino workers. We had about 60,000 overseas Filipino workers who lost their jobs abroad, and they had to be repatriated by the government. And in order to keep everybody else safe, they were housed in the hotels for the usual 14-day quarantine. So the hotels in Metro Manila were all running full. And until now, they're still running full because there's still more of these overseas Filipino workers coming in. And that's the good part of the crisis. However, we still want all the tourism establishments to start grinding. We don't expect to see that because according to the government, they will not allow the tourism establishments to start until there is already a semblance of tourism recovery in the other parts of the world. So we expect these tourism establishments to be open by around late August or early September. And in the meantime, once on this coming Monday, the 15th of June, we expect the quarantine or the restrictions to be downgraded some more. I mean, the downgrading of the restrictions, the hotels in the other parts of the Philippines will be allowed to take in bookings, take in guests. Because right now they still are not allowed to do that. but they will be doing that starting the 15th of June. Now, who will be the customers? The government and the tourism industry will be promoting domestic tourism first. Of course, in order to compensate for whatever is not coming in from abroad, we want to push for domestic tourism. So as early as now, tourism organizers or tour operators and travel agents are now coming up with very affordable packages for everybody to avail of, domestic tourists to avail of. So that is what is happening so far. Now, Murthy asked me about what's going to happen post-COVID. So post-COVID, I mean, it's not a problem because as far as I see, when you say post-COVID, it means after the COVID crisis. And that means it can only be after the COVID crisis if the vaccine has been discovered and distributed. So hopefully, although I'm a pragmatist, I want to accept what is the reality now. I'm also an optimist, and I'm holding on to the shreds of hope that the vaccine will be available soon, so that everything else, the tourism industry will get back to normal. And there's nothing like the old normal. I know that many people these days are quick to call our present predicament as a new normal. I don't subscribe to that term, because as far as I'm concerned, it should be called the new environment, not the new normal, because there's nothing normal about what's happening. and as far as morale and motivation is concerned, Morty asked me, what can I say as a tourism leader in the Philippines? What can I say to the young people in the tourism industry? And here's what I can say. The young people today, if you're going to embark on the tourism industry, you have to check, you have to do a lot of introspection. First, you have to check on yourself. You have to have a strong character. You have to have the heart. You have to have the willpower in order to overcome all kinds of challenges, because the tourism industry is always faced with so many challenges. Taking example here in the Philippines, our tourism industry has had so many of these challenges. We've had several coups d'etats. We've had devastating earthquakes, killer typhoons. Just last January, before the pandemic, we had ashfall, volcanic ashfall from one of our volcanoes, and the volcanic ashfall covered a lot of tourist sites outside Metro Manila. And the nice thing about these things is every time we are faced with this challenge, we bounce back. And when we bounce back even stronger. And this is what I want the young people in the tourism industry, I want them to remember this, that the people in the tourism industry, not just here in the Philippines, but I'm sure all of my colleagues also here in the panel, we have the what you call the never say die spirit, and we have to have it, because otherwise we will not survive in the tourism industry. The tourism industry is made up of people with never say die spirits, people who are astute strategists, people who will always find a way even if there seems to be no way. And this is what makes the tourism industry very interesting, because you have to be strong-willed, and in spite of all the challenges, you bounce back. I can assure the people, the young people now listening to us, we will bounce back from this pandemic. It might take a little bit longer, but we will. And I know that once we do, then it will even be a much better tourism industry. And we're all looking forward to that. And I guess that's all I have to say for now. If you have questions, I'm open. Thank you.
Let me ask our speakers, do you have any questions, Mr. Bob? Anybody have questions? Okay, no question. So Dennis, I'm going to your turn now, but I need just a few minutes, okay? Because somebody is asking to lucky draws. Hakan, can you please tell us when is our lucky draws? Okay, then I will go to this.
Well, I have outlined this before. As aforementioned, we will have a little pop quiz pretty soon. Please stand by for action there. As we said, we have a 3-day Kuşadası fam trip, a 3-day Cappadocia fam trip. We have Vietnam fam trips that's within this September also. Another fam trip in Istanbul with a luxury MICE theme. So we will be directing some questions to you in regards to the tourism industry in general, and also a little bit about the panel and our speakers, just to give you a little hint. So we will be directing you the questions. We will open up the chat screen, and the first answer will be receiving one of these presents that we have arranged for, just to appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Deniz, welcome.
Hello.
Now your turn. Yeah, yes, please.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thought what I'd do today is give you a little bit of a global overview of the theme park industry and the impact this pandemic has had on us, not only here in the United States, but truly around the world. Everyone here is living it. The theme park industry, as you probably know, is a major driver in the tourism industry, certainly here in the United States. This last year in the United States, over 375 million people, more than our population, went to theme parks and water parks. And if you quantify that a little bit further, you'll see that maybe a good comp would be if you took all professional paid sports, NBA, baseball, football, soccer, hockey, etc. If you put all of those together, the theme park industry here in the United States outdrew all of those paid sporting events. So we are a leader here in the United States as it relates to travel and tourism. We are truly one of the few remaining places on the planet that the family can go and recreate together. And I'll give you a couple of examples about that. Movies, dad wants to see an R, the kids can't see that. Mom wants to see a chick flick, dad doesn't want to see that. The kids want to go to a PG. So it's hard to get the family to go to a movie under the best of times, and certainly can't do that right now because most of our theaters are closed. But it's a place where theme park family can go as a theme park. They actually bring mother, father, the children, and in many cases, particularly in our destination parks, you'll see the grandparents attend with them. So a little bit of something for everyone to do. They can spread out, come back and meet together for a lunch or a dinner or a show or some other attraction. So on a price value basis, if you look at it and you break it down on an hourly basis, and that's what we have done in our industry for years, you look at how much it costs for a family on an individual basis to visit on the hour, by the hour, and it's very attractive for the family. It's a good value. It's a great price value. Internationally, over 500 million people went to theme parks last year, and we have seen a tremendous growth, particularly since the end of the recession around 2010. And that growth was primarily being driven in China, Asia, primarily China though, and over in the Middle East. We have seen pre-COVID a slowdown on the theme park development in China. A moratorium was placed on the industry by the Chinese government about a year and a half ago, tightening up because a lot of the big Chinese development companies were using the theme parks as a lure to get property and develop around that residential, commercial, and then forget the theme park later on. So this is not unusual in China. It happened back in the early 2000s, and it's happening again now. In the Middle East, just to give you an idea over there, A lot of these parks that were opened over the last 8 years or so, where they were investments of anywhere from $500 million US to $1.3 billion. And these parks were built to entertain 40,000+ people a day, have not seen that type of success. On average, there may be some periods through the years we've seen less than 5,000 people a day be the average. So the old adage, build it and they will come, I think that that's over in our industry. And we have to be more prudent on our growth as we look at new markets. However, development is still occurring, and we're seeing a new park open in Beijing in 2021, Universal Studios. That is a $6.6 billion investment coming several years after Disney's successful entree into Shanghai, which was $5.5 billion. So we entertain a huge number of guests. We employ a huge number of guests. We're close to 1 million in terms of our employment around the world. And as of March this year, and beginning a little earlier, all that came to a halt. I'll use the United States best. We were watching China, particularly my company. We had a lot of business over there. We were watching. We knew something was happening. We saw this slowdown coming, and we forecast that it was going to hit about the time of spring break here in the U.S. and Easter. And that's exactly when it did hit. And we saw the parks, Disney, Universal, Six Flags, Cedar Fair, Merlin, Parques Reunidos, and all the independent parks mounting their huge effort to get ready to open, and the rug was pulled out from underneath them. And we're just now, at this point in June, seeing the parks starting to announce their comebacks. To give you an idea, Disney just announced in Orlando that they're going to open Magic Kingdom and the Animal Kingdom on July the 5th. And they will open their next two big parks on July the 11th. Cedar Fair, which is the second largest regional operator here in the US, has just indicated that they're going to begin operating their parks later in July, even though they've had some guidance that will allow them. So our season has gone from this to this. And when we lose those days, it's hard to catch up. I'm being very practical now. I like to be an optimist as well, but quite frankly, I was talking to the media yesterday, and we said this is 2020 is the year that we all want to forget, because as we move through it with the uncertainty that's left for our theme parks here in the U.S. and globally, it's been quite an ordeal, as for everyone. In our industry, safety is first. It's the hallmark of our industry. One of your visitors today, Jim Shea with Premier Rides, he's one of the leaders in our safety area for the global attractions. And if Jim could speak now, he would tell you that if it isn't safe, we won't operate it. And that has been our hallmark. People come to theme parks with their families to have a good time, to experience a wonderful event, and create great memories. And I like to say always that what do we really do in theme parks? We don't put smoke in the skies. We don't pollute the waterways. At the end of the day, what we really do is we put smiles on people's faces. And we've done that for well over 100 years. So safety is important, which takes me to COVID-19. We're watching our companies, our major operators in the industry around the world, Germany, France, Australia, China, Korea, taking painstaking efforts to create these new implementations that we're going to have to live with for several years. This isn't going away. We have to put them in, and we're going to see. And that's a good thing, as someone pointed out earlier. We're learning, but it's a test market for really two sides of the ledger, Murtaza. It's a test market for the parks, the operators, because we've never done this before. We're talking distancing, spacing, sanitizing, disinfecting, temperature taking, thermal imaging, masks at all times in some very hot markets. So we have to, how do we employ those in a manner that's acceptable to the public, and what is the reaction going to be from the public after we introduce this? We've seen some parks start to open, as I said earlier, in the last week or so. They're not coming back in droves, I can tell you that, honestly. We're watching people be very cautious, just like they are in the food and beverage industry. So the tests are necessary. The numbers are staggering. We estimate at this point in time, the loss could be, up till now, through 2020, as much as $10 billion plus, and it could actually exceed $20 billion of lost revenue as we continue to move forward. We're cutting back on capacities, so only half the people that we would typically allow in a theme park are coming in, similar to the restaurants. Once they're in the park, if it's a family, we're allowing them to sit together in a restaurant or a show. If not, we're spacing them out. So on a roller coaster, you may have one person here and one person there and empty seats. So the formulas that we have developed for entertaining our guests are having to be remixed, reworked, and quite frankly, I can tell you it's a slowdown. So the guest, the message to the guest, which hits them right at the front gates of all of the parks around the world right now, are messages that they've never seen before. It used to be on a ride, if you're pregnant, if you have a bad back, if you have an allergy, we would prefer you not ride this and suggest you don't. Now it's all about the 5, distancing, spacing, masks, etc. So I believe this is here for at least 2 years in our industry. We're already 6 months into 2020. And again, a lot of parks haven't opened. We've never missed Memorial Days. We've never missed 4th of Julys in our industry. And this year we are. So we're resilient. Let me say this as I finish. We're resilient. We do bounce back fast. I've always said, if you look at the Great Depression in '29, I was told that we kept our amusement parks open. After 9/11, we bounced back very quickly. We knew who the enemy was, and within 6 to 8 months, we were back. After the recession in mid-2000s, we came back, and we've had 10 great years up to COVID of tremendous growth and experience. We spend on average probably $10+ billion a year on capital expansion, and that doesn't include when a new park is coming on. So we'll bounce back after this. It's going to take a while. We're learning. The guest is going to have to learn. It is going to be different. Bob, you're right. It's sad to say it's the new norm, but it is new, and the guests are going to have to understand that. Thank you. Can't hear you, Murtaza.
Please stay here. We will get questions to you later on. Any of our speakers have questions to Mr. Dennis? I think none of them. Later on we'll get. Let me go to Sangeeta. Namaste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear friends, introducing once again Enterprising Travel Agents Association, which is headed by Mr. Carl Dantes. He's the emeritus and the national president is Mr. Jagat Mehta. The national general secretary is Mr. Dharmesh Advani, and me as a chairperson North India chapter and the director on the national board. Now, it's a non-profitable association started in 1993, one of the oldest association. We on our ETA platform have around 1600 members who are the allied and active members with us. Without repeating what my dignity speaker and Mr. Goyal has said, I would like to talk in general. Like, we always get up in the morning and we say ourselves, yes, we can do it. Now, what is this? Like, even our elders also keep on saying good, bad, right, wrong, possible, impossible. So these are friends, these are the time friends. We are in this together. We fall together and we rise together. And having said that, the distance between our dreams and reality is merely proportional to our efforts. We have to be positive, we have to stand positive, we have to stay positive. That is the only key way of success. I know this situation has made everybody too much disturbed with their business strategies, business modules, but this is life. Life has to come back, bounce back. We will definitely bounce back. We are here with the positive energy. We are trying to do many more activities to involve on with the sanitizing, with keeping up the social distancing. This is definitely going to help our business. No matter 2 3 months more down the line, we have been facing these problems. We'll come out soon, but we have to be staying very positive. And you know, hard work. Hard work is the foremost vital key to success. Without being willing to work, we cannot bounce back. The venture always remains the same with the strategies. We are having so experienced panel speakers there. With all of our strength, with all of our togetherness, we can definitely get up the modules by saying what are the do's and don'ts we need to follow in our trade. We need to strong up with the domestic market, that's fine, but that's a shorter period. Everything comes for a shorter period. Everybody is saying that pandemic situation is to stay for a long. Yes, let's let's be let's active the fact that it has to be with us, but we are here as a strong contestants to fight back and come back in a monomel. We are here to see all these situations. We will definitely come back no matter what the situation is. Just be positive, stay positive, come on a strong way. This is going to really help us. I know 50 more million worldwide people have lost their jobs. But when the situation start moving towards the prosperity, towards the betterment of our situations, we will definitely find people. We will ask people to join back again, because without the work team, without the teamwork, we cannot work, we cannot survive. So let's this pandemic situation change the travel industry, but we cannot change ourselves. We will remain the same. We will actually fight back and obtain the industry back to shape with all the patience and love. And I'm sure everybody agrees on that. So over to you, Murtaza.
Thank you. Let me ask you, when a lot of people ask me a question on WhatsApp, when is the wedding and the mice group will start from India?
That's what I said. We have to be patient and we have to be in a very proper manner. Think, if you see country wise, people are actually changing their rules and regulations. If you talk about the hotels, they have started doing many more additional activities, like they are doing sanitizing on a daily basis. They are keeping things active. They are keeping all the checkouts. So India domestic market has started. It is going to start soon. So maybe we need to wait for another month or so, 2 months or so, and definitely the life is going to be normal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And any of our speakers' questions to Sangeeta? Okay, none of them. Mr. Ip, I make you the co-host.
Okay, thank you.
Please share your screen also.
Okay. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, at home offices or working in isolation at your workplaces. I am Eyüp Babür, the Vice President of the Istanbul Tourism Association. I'd like to share my screen with you to run you through a short presentation. If you could bear with me, please. I'd like to thank dear Murti, our valuable colleague, as well as the board member of our association, Istanbul Tourism Association, for arranging this gathering, and also trying to sprinkle some positive vibes around in these challenging times. It is so sad that we, the tourism industry, got hit the hardest from this crisis. But we all know and have experienced so many times in the past that our clientele is resilient and don't need much encouragement to return as soon as the safety and confidence come back. As you see on the screen, on the chart of the World Tourism Organization, tourism movements around the world has grown back again, even after major circumstances like 9/11, SARS, and global economic crises. Also, please remember the examples Dennis from the US and Bob from Philippines gave a few minutes ago. As for our current situation, we all see nowadays that the cases are in decline. Some flights are starting, hotels are gradually opening, and that almost all the governments around the world, tourism and health administrations, hotels and hotel groups, airlines and tourism-related establishments are taking unprecedented measures and have established protocols to make sure the health and safety of the visitors. And Turkey is one of them, maybe among the first few, reacting fast to establish a hygiene and health safety certification issued by the Ministry of Tourism. As I'm sure you all agree that exploring the world is one of the most pleasant things for everybody, with this first glimpse of positive news, let's be ready to assist our clients again, but now focus on creating exciting, tailor-made and new programs for them, especially based on unique experiences. As you all very well know, unique experiences is one of the most ascending trends of today in the travel world. Being an ambassador of Istanbul, I'm very proud to say that this city is truly unique in that regard. No doubt you all know that Istanbul is the only city in the world settled on two continents, Europe and Asia. It has also been the capital of the late three empires, Eastern Rome, Byzantine and Ottoman, and it was at the final point of the ancient Silk Road. People visiting the city feel this mosaic in every direction. Heritage, trade, business, architecture, shopping, food, entertainment, and the way of life. Along this beautiful Istanbul Bosphorus, there are numerous hotels and event locations where many local and international weddings and events take place. The city is also a great convention destination with its state-of-the-art convention and congress centers, 110 five-star hotels, and a total of 1,900 hotels with 100,000 rooms. Almost all the international hotel groups are in Istanbul, many with more than one hotel. In summary, what this city of 3,000 years of history offers is the very meaning of unique experiences. Dear colleagues, every year MasterCard puts together its Global Destination Cities Index, which ranks 200 cities around the world, based on how popular they are with tourists. The survey not only takes into consideration the visitor numbers and the travel spending data, but also predicts where people will be visiting within the next year, which is of course not relevant anymore for this year, but according to the company's 2019 index, Istanbul has been the 8th most popular city of the world by the foreign travelers, right after the 7th, New York City. We are confident that as soon as the world returns to its course back again, we will even climb higher in this ladder. I now would like to show you a 1-minute video of Istanbul.
Like Napoleon once said, if the world was only one country, Istanbul would be its capital. As Istanbul Tourism Association, we are working hard to add value to Istanbul's tourism, make it a powerful brand, first destination and choice to visit in world of tourism. We want our guests to experience the gorgeousness of Istanbul. If you're considering a city full of history, cultures of civilizations, amusement, shopping, gastronomy, healthcare, investment, finance to business meetings, then it is definitely Istanbul.
Thank you once again for your participation today. Let us all be positive, optimistic, keep a high spirit, and I wish you all safe, healthy, and prosperous future days ahead. Murti, back to you.
Anybody have a questions, Mr. Ayub Babir, our speakers? None of you, okay. So, Mr. Fahrettin from Kuşadası. Abi benden açık.
It's done, okay.
Video açayım mı senin?
Of course, once again, I would like to give a short presentation of mine, and then let friends and participants to enjoy one of our short video for Kuşadası.
Okay.
To refresh their memories and to refresh their knowledge about Kuşadası. And then I will go into details concerning Kuşadası's potential in travel industry. So I am Fahrettin Çiçek and representing the municipality of Kuşadası as a municipal council member and the head of the tourism commission. So all our panelists have already declared and pointed out the difficulties of the COVID-19 periods, but we have to, of course, look into the future stronger and stop talking less and less about the previous results and previous effects of the disease in our industry. It is very well known with the statistics as well. But let me tell you something, what the COVID-19 enabled us as municipalities to do during these lockdown periods. We had a great chance to improve our infrastructural standards where the traffic and where the daily movements within the streets and within the cities came down to zero. We had great chance to improve our standards for the infrastructural issues. So let's look also from the positive sides what this disease caused to the world, to the nations, and to the people living in the big cities or small rural areas. So let's go into the video and let's broadcast this and to have a good views of Kuşadası and to have something positive to refresh our minds and our memories about Kuşadası.
Okay.
It's just a short video. Yes.
Welcome back.
Right. So going back to summer season 2019, we had a great summer behind of us, and Kuşadası with its strong source market mixture had a brilliant statistics, and we were able to host over 1.3 million foreign visitors in our destination. And the accommodation industry was able to record total bed nights with over 4 million. So within our source market mixture, we can count the domestic market with 30% of market shares, and the other source markets can be counted as Germany, Britain, the CIS markets, Bulgaria, and our neighborhood countries, Romania, Holland, and also Belgium. So with these mixture of source markets, we were able to secure our occupancies with over 90% last year with the accommodation industry. Kuşadası started the travel industry within Turkey as one of the main beach holiday destinations at the early 60s of the previous millennium, and became later on a very famous destination for the cruise travel as well, which leads the city on to the #1 in Turkey. In good years, we were able to host over 700 cruise liners docking on our cruise port and bringing us over 2 million cruise passengers. Besides being a beach holiday destination and cruise destination, we of course offer also perfect conditions, being a destination for faith tourism, which leads us to the main crossroads of the 7 churches of Asia Minor, the House of Virgin Mary, which shows in main tours of religious interest operating in Turkey. Beside all these tourism types, and we do also, of course, host a great choice for attraction points for MICE and wedding organizations, which we mainly offer to our European visitors and who would like to organize their weddings in Kuşadası and on our beaches with the best sunset views, and also, of course, with the closest reach wide to the Virgin Mary's house, where they can hold, of course, their religious marriage as well in the Church of Virgin Mary. As Kuşadası is also located in the best place where the most visited attraction points are close, such as Ephesus and other ancient cities of the historical times. Most of the round trips coming to Turkey and visiting Turkey has to pass through Kuşadası as well. So offering all these variety of the travel industries, arts, Kuşadası will remain as one of the main gateway to Turkey tourism industry for most of the source markets interested to start with Turkey. Even though Kuşadası, with a limited number of hotels, comparing to our Mediterranean coastline, we offer small but fine services to all our foreign visitors preferring to spend their summertime in Turkey. Looking into the future, of course, the COVID-19 has brought us down to 0 point, and we are looking forward to start very soon with foreign visitors as well. Our domestic market has already started since the first days of the June, and hotels started to open again. We have a couple of hotels which are in operation, and most of the hotels are nowadays completing their procedures for the COVID-free holidaying and healthy tourism certification. And the properties located in our area will be audited during next few weeks for all the measurements they have taken in terms of hygienic and in terms of protection against the COVID infections. So the first source markets we are expecting to receive and to welcome our guests will be most probably our neighborhood countries like Bulgaria and Romania, where the passengers has a great chance to reach our place and our destination by their own cars as well. So most probably before the international flights starting, especially the charter flights, our customers who are very keen to spend their summer holidays again in Kuşadası will try to come up with their own cars or with their own transport means organized by their tour operators. Concerning the charter operations, we are expecting our first arrivals from Ukraine source market. Flights are mainly originating to Bodrum Airport, and from Bodrum Airport and from Izmir Airport we are able to serve our customers visiting Kuşadası. And with Ukraine operations we will be picking up, and later on the 3rd of July we are expecting to receive charters to Izmir Airport from Belarus. Concerning the European source markets, it seems the decision will be reviewed during the next few days, especially on the 15th of June, concerning the position of Turkey. And we are expecting European community and European countries to review their decision concerning opening Turkey borders. Their borders to Turkey as of 1st of July to try to bring this time a little bit nearer. And there are some countries from Europe which are still insisting with their own strategic of promoting travel only within European Union, which I believe is not fair, where they opened several destinations with very bad or not enough let's say not enough success they have shown during the COVID-19 fighting times. I would like to leave this, of course, issue to the professionals from the medicine and from the health industry, but as a traveler, a world traveler, where I did several trips a year, almost around 40 trips a year I was doing during my during last few years to meet our friends from the travel industry. I would say Europe is right now doing a double standard issue, which I hope that they will soon get rid of it. But we as Turkey are ready to host all our friends and guests from all over the world soon. Of course, I'm not talking from all countries. There will be some times we need for some countries to see that they are also doing pretty good with the statistics, what we are following up through the platforms daily, and they are becoming they're taking the control over the COVID disease. We will have to get used to travel with these disaster, everybody is trying to adjust themselves to the conditions under the personal hygienic circumstances and trying to, of course, protect themselves and their families from this disease. But we all have educated ourselves during these recent months. And I think everybody what we can see and what we can face, who we can meet, we all spend enough time to study and to educate ourselves how to protect our own families and ourselves from this disease. And the regulations sent around by the ministries or by the authorities are well gone through, and including the accommodation industry, we all have adjusted ourselves. I mean, the municipalities have taken all the necessary precautions to keep the cities as clean as possible, to keep all the streets free from COVID infections. So we are approaching to that stage that we can start. We can start with the travel industry again. We can start traveling around and we can start visiting those lovely places all over the world. And Kuşadası is going to be one of them, which I believe will be on at the stage very soon. And I am open to every single of your questions related with the municipality and also related with the travel industry in Turkey itself, as being one of the leading DMCs cooperating with 30 different markets from all over the world. I am also one of you, as a member of the industry like you, and I am ready to answer any of your questions related with our business as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm open on the chat for everyone. If anybody have questions, please write on our chat. Just a second. If anybody have a question, please write on the chat to our speakers so we can read it, then they can answer. Let me read. Mr. Hakan? Anybody,
Yes,
if anybody have a question, please write on the chat. Chat program is now on, so we can read it. Let's read. By that time, I can show you maybe the small video. Okay, somebody have a question, I think. Thank you for please.
Yeah, I think Mr. Mohammed Asiful Hagu, to everyone, he says that my first question is, he says, but it doesn't continue here. And also Sunil Kumar, to everyone, is Indian food easily available across Turkey, sir?
Yes, available. I mean, the most of cities available now for touristic destination.
Okay, another question. Mr. or Mrs. Juan Malina, hi, when started open for tourists in India and Turkey? I think he or she means that when the tourism will be back on track again for India to Turkey.
Well, it all depends on how fast the airports, international airports open. Turkey is a very important destination for Indians. And I hope, like they say, inshallah, by middle of July, or at least the first week of August, things should be back on track. Indians last year, before COVID-19, about 27 million Indians traveled abroad.
Okay, thank you for your information, sir. From Zaim in Dubai, when Turkey is opening the borders and Turkish Airlines will start full operation. Mr. Murtaza, would you like to answer to that?
Maybe Mr. Fahrettin can answer. Mr. Fahrettin?
Okay.
Of course. Well, Turkish Airlines has already declared to start flying to 40 different countries. And it should start as of today, but as far as I could follow up, the permissions, which has to be approved by the related destination, has not arrived today. We are trying to start country by country, and our borders are open actually. So there are some flights operating on charter basis to some countries like UK and Germany, but these are mainly repatriation flights. And Turkish Airlines regular flights are starting as of today, and as of tomorrow there will be countries already on the list of operation.
Thank you for your answer, sir. Another question from Jose Valentin. When do you expect the MICE operations and facilities will be open and ready to go in Turkey and India? Mr. Murtaza?
Maybe Mr. Abe can answer. Mr. Abe? Abe Abi?
Yes, many of the hotels are at in the verge of opening and completing the protocols and procedures issued by the Ministry of Tourism in terms of hygiene certification. This includes the convention facilities as well. So in my prediction, we are going to be ready to accept any kind of meetings and conventions as of the next month.
Thank you.
Okay, your answer should suffice for the questioner. Another question from Madhu Sudhan to Mr. Dennis Spiegel. Mr. Spiegel, when is the HKG Disney is opening? Mr. Spiegel? Yeah.
Please open unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I had tried. You have me muted or I haven't been able. Hong Kong Disneyland has not announced any opening date at this point. The hotel resort area and retail around it is open right now, and Ocean Park is getting ready to open shortly. But for Hong Kong Disney, no date as of yet.
Okay, that answers that. Another participant here with no name but a Galaxy A80 user. How many tourists every year go into Philippines before Corona? I think this has to do with the
Mr.
hotel
Bob.
representative. Yes.
Okay, can I answer that?
Yes, please.
Okay, last year we had a little over 8 million tourists coming to our country, and we were projecting 10 million for this year. And of course, we all know that that's not going to happen.
Thank you. Özcan, Hakan Özcan oku.
Yes, Mr. Özcan Aytaç, one of us wonders that after the coronavirus pandemic issue, which country will be the hottest destination for travel and tourism industry, and what kind of tours are going to be operated, such as cultural, private, luxury, ecological, and gastronomical tours, as well as health tourism? Mr. Murtaza.
Maybe Subhash Koel can answer this question.
Sorry, I was on another line. Can you repeat?
Can you please repeat?
Let me repeat that. Mr. Özcan Aytaç asks that after coronavirus pandemic, after this issue, which country will be hottest destination in travel and tourism industry, and what kind of tours are going to be operated, such as cultural tours, private tours, luxury tours, ecological gastronomy tours, health and tourism?
From India, I think the neighboring Southeast Asian and neighboring destinations, regional tourism will be first. I think Sri Lanka, Nepal, Thailand, Dubai, these are the neighboring areas, and particularly where the visa is there on arrival and, with different protocols. I think the regional tourism will start first, and the long haul tourism will take a little time.
Okay, we appreciate your answer, sir. There is another question, I think more than a question, it's a request from Vina Mayalina. Could you please provide Indonesian food in Turkey? That's duly noted. Also, that's a kind request, that's something to be considered. This from Nana Segbawu. When is Turkey planning to open its borders to tourists from Ghana and Africa? Mr. Murtaza.
Maybe Mr. Fahrettin can answer. Fahrettin.
Well, I did not pay attention to any single country to see the regulations of Turkey concerning the borders opening, but Turkey is keen to open the borders soon. I mean, I'm sure the African countries will be also welcomed very as soon as they declare the acceptable figures of COVID pandemic.
Thank you for your answer, sir. Another question for Mr. Çiçek here. Throw more light on the issue of double standards by Europe. I'm not quite clear on that.
Well, it is very clear that European countries are pushing the European citizens to spend their summer holidays, especially during this pandemic period, for the European countries. If you consider that some European countries did perform very bad in terms of COVID, I mean, they fight against COVID. They are now back on the stage, and the European countries opened their borders to the other member states and trying to attract or trying to promote their own citizens to spend their summer holidays in those countries where we all know that their performance comparing to Turkey is worse. So this is what I wanted to point out, and I do believe that the European countries will review and will go back to the more fair decision-making processes. This is what I mean. As being one of the politicians in the local arena, I had to point out these. I don't mean anything bad. So I would like to welcome my European guests as soon as possible. I have plenty of European partners, and I do host over 350,000 guests a year in Turkey, and most of them are from Europe. So I have my partners who are really feeling squeezed by their own governments not to open Turkey as a destination and to be pushed to start with other European countries, to the European destinations, which I believe each European citizen has double thoughts to go there or not. When it comes to a question of choosing Turkey or to that certain destination. Thank you very much.
Okay, Hakan, we have 94 questions. We can't go to that. But please just select it in the the important question, because the 95 question now. Do you understand what I mean? Please select it in the the important questions. Later on, we will send this all questions to our speakers. We will send email to them. Okay.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. Shall I go on with the with our little quiz right now, or just pick a few more questions?
I mean, a few more questions, then
Okay, there's Shakuber Salam Velu. It says, any possibility of starting international flight in between Saudi Arabia and Turkey soon? That's one of the questions here that we have. Sir, Mr. Murtaza, about the flights, international flights from Turkey or to Turkey, any scheduled?
I think Mr. Farid already answered that question.
Yes.
Saudi Arabia is also on the list to start with the regular flights, and also we are approaching to the times of Hajj and pilgrimage operations. So they have declared to organize Hajj this year with, of course, less participants, and so it will soon also take off for flights.
Questions are usually in the same subject matter, that whether or not the national and international flights will start.
Hakan, 1 minute, please. I kindly request from our speakers, maybe it's better that they can write the email to our chat program, so they can write them direct. They can contact with them directly also.
Okay. Okay.
If you okay with you, Mr. Farid, for all our speakers, isn't it? It's better to, because still 112 questions. Okay.
Well, I think that there is one more question that is different than others and maybe answered worthwhile.
Hakan, maybe there's somebody asking the Mr. Thomas Klein. Thomas is here, or he left? And he just left.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there is this I'll take this one final question from Lokish Patwa. It says whether tourism will be now more expensive in Turkey as compared to the period before COVID-19. That's something to, needs an answer, I believe. Sir?
Well, let me also answer this question.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Murtaza. So as I am trying to remarket Turkey product again on the international markets, of course, there are some certain instruments which you can launch immediately to start picking up with the, badly affected demand. And the price policy is the first thing, one of the urgent things which we will, of course, retouch and adjust to the international competition conditions. So nobody should be afraid of that Turkey will increase the rates. There will be always the best rate, and which is well known with its quality and price level niveau. So everybody will be having enough offers which they can afford to pay. And I am sure our hoteliers and our industry, in general, will allow everyone at the beginning to get the best potential package rates to visit or to start their summer holidays with Turkey as destination. So nobody should be having being afraid of facing high rates from Turkey in the future either.
Hakan,
Okay.
Somebody have questioned Mr. Thomas. I think he's here. I lost it. Can you please check them there? Somebody have questioned Mr. Thomas.
I'm going through the list here, sir. It's over 100 questions, and let me just give me some time to find this one.
Maybe we can send him that question to him by email.
Okay, let's do this. Since we have so many questions to be answered and we want to cut this short, it's already been, an hour and a half, so we don't want to bore anyone. Let's, whoever has a question in mind, please ask the question and put the contact details below. Then we can just forward all these questions to the relevant persons and get you the answers as soon as we have them after this first session. Well, this I will go on with the little pop quiz we have here. This has been a great meeting with you all, and I appreciate all the participants and especially the speakers which have really extended valuable information in regards to tourism and travel industry. For my share, I come up with two sums that desperate times, desperate measures, and what doesn't kill you makes me stronger. These are two proverbs that I like from American forefathers, and I stick by these guidelines. And I go to my questions here. Just if you could just keep the chat to the answers of the questions that I will be directing you right now, it's most appreciated. And put your contact details to make sure that in order to determine that you are the first one to answer who will get the present. First question, I'm starting with my pop quiz. Just pay attention here. Who was our first speaker during this panel? Who was our first speaker? Please have the answers through the Zoom.
Yes, we get the first question. Jill. No, not Jill. Sorry, Robert. No.
Subash. Yeah.
Yes, but
the first answer is right here. Subash Goyal, that's the right answer from Denis Sabelina. Denis Sabelina, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Would you please put your contact details in order to, extend you your little prize? That is a 3-day Kuşadası fam trip. That's on September 24th. So that goes the first question. No more answers for the first questions. Here comes the second question. That's a hard one. Which continent is Turkey as a country located in?
Europe and Asia.
That's great. That's a great answer. Okay, that's let me see. It's running like wild. Europe and Asia. That's really correct. I mean, I would have taken the Europe as it is, but Europe and Asia. That's great. I'm checking on the first right answer here. Just bear with me here for a second. Let me see. Let me see. Europe, Asia, Europe. Good. There is.
Mr. Eve, please help us. Yeah, you do a good job last time.
Yeah, you track the people really good, sir. You track the people really good. Oh my God! It just let me see. I think I'm getting there. Asia and Europe. It says I'll take that answer because you know Istanbul sits on Europe and the Asia, rest of the countries on Asia. So I'll take Madhu Sudhan. Please have us the contact details to get a hold of you, and you have won another September 24th event. It's a Cappadocian fan trip. That's an exquisite one. It's a 3-day Cappadocia fan trip. That goes the second question, and I'm just counting down to question number 3. Who was our second speaker during this panel, please? Our second speaker, please.
Somebody try, Dejan.
I think I have fondue. Hold on a second again. There goes Mayhem. Okay. Bob, Klein, Thomas, Bob. Everybody goes. Okay, I think the right answer here is, it says Mr. Bob. I mean, it's not Mr. Bob. It's Thomas. That's right. It's but you know I would have wanted to see the full name.
I think Kunal.
Yeah, we have the full name is Thomas Klein of WTA, and I will give this present to Irene Gonzalez. Irene Gonzalez, please let us have your full contact details. You have won. What you have won is a Vietnam fan trip from September 4th to 7th. That's a 4-day fan trip in Vietnam. Congratulations on that one. And I'm going on to my 4th question, which is, again, about Vietnam, since we have given away on Vietnam. The capital of Vietnam, what is... Oh my God, that's an instant answer that I have here. Yeah, that was a quick one. That's great. Somebody has studied his or her geography lessons, right? Let me see. Hanoi, that's right. Correct answer is Hanoi from Eileen Jekunta. Eileen Jekunta, you have, let me see, you have won a Vietnam fan trip for the 7th of September. The previous one, I'm sorry, the third question, there was the right answer won a luxury mice in Istanbul, 21st to 24th September. This one is has won Vietnam, since it's a question relevant to Vietnam, so that really suits well. Okay, Eileen Jakunta, we need your contact details in full. I'm going to the 5th question. Let me reset this answer mode again. Okay, the 5th question is, when was this company called Travelshop Turkey founded? Do you know, if you check out our website, or you may already know because of your relation with us, when was the Travelshop Turkey founded? Okay, 2993. So that means that we haven't established the organization.
Ritesh.
I think
Ritesh.
We have the right answer. By the way, the right answer is 2005. It's
Ritesh.
Huda.
No, Ritesh. Oh, yeah, Kunal, sorry, yes.
The first answer is
Johnny.
Huda, let me see. 2005 is the right answer. So I'm getting the first answer, 2005, is from one of us. That doesn't really count. Mr. UJ Kılıç has answered the right answer, but it's one of our employees, so I won't count that. The right answer comes from Huda Mahfuz. That is a name that I also am familiar with. That's one of our travel agencies. in Israel, I do believe. Huda Mahfuz, you have won a Kuşadası Fem trip by giving us the right answer that Travelshop Turkey has been founded by 2005. And the sixth answer, this has been really fun, Mr. Murtaza. I really enjoyed this part of the meeting. Okay, the sixth question is about, in regards to Turkey and Turkish cities, most populated Turkish city. What is the most populated Turkish city? Okay, okay. It says Kuşadası. Well, that's not even close. I think there is the right answer. Kuşadası. That's funny because I've never seen them really crowded. Okay, the right answer is Istanbul. That's Lucy Damiani. Lucy Damiani, please let us have all your contact details on this chat window so we can get a hold of you. You have won a Cappadocia Fem trip in Turkey on September. We will get you the details as soon as you get us your personal details. The seventh question is, and has to do with our company. What is the title of our office in Vietnam? Travelshop Turkey office in Vietnam would be called what? Okay, that must, Ho Chi Minh City? That's interesting. Okay, Ho Chi Minh City. Travelshop Vietnam, of course, that's, you know, that's logic right there. Rajendra Hardikar, we appreciate your answer. That's the right answer. And you have won a Vietnam. Since the question is about Vietnam, you have won a Vietnam fam trip. Let us get your details again so we can get a hold of you. Congratulations again. The eighth and the final question is, has to do with Turkey again. 2010, and Mr. Eyüp Babur would know it by heart, that 2010 European Cultural Capital is what destination?
Oh my God, oh my God.
Okay, there are some answers. Okay, let me go through all that. Cappadocia is definitely not. Okay, let me see. I think I get it. That's an abbreviation, but I'll. We have Istanbul, full right answer. That's Ayşin Üzel. Has known correct. The destination that has been selected by European Union as European Cultural Capital of 2010 is Istanbul. That's correct answer.
Who answer is Turkish?
Yeah, Ayşin Üzel.
No, please, next one, yeah. She's Turkish, of course.
We don't want Turkish answers. Okay. Okay, I'll pass to the
I mean,
second.
we can host her anyway, but...
yeah, I mean, yes, you are in Turkey. That's correct, sir. Okay, this is another Turkish person.
No, it's open.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. This is also a Turkish name. We want. Yeah, they're all Turkish. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. First foreigner, I must say, to know the European capital of 2010 is Jitesh Lapasia. Jitesh Lapasia, you have also won a luxury MICE fam trip in Turkey by September. We appreciate all the answers. We appreciate all your time. Thanks for joining us. And this has been fun, really. We appreciate your time. We'll see you. Murtaza.
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much to all, especially our speakers. And our next tourism panel is 15 July. Hope to see you. Subhashwal, do you want to say something?
No, I just want that all the speakers' email IDs and their contact details should be sent to all the speakers.
Surely.
That we can communicate with each other.
Surely. Thank you very much to all. Goodbye, yeah? Please put your hands up.
Thank you.
Thank you.